Hello, my fellow flawless, limitless, sexy, sassy, saucy HBICs. How are you on this lovely morning, afternoon, or evening? How are you all? I hope you're all doing fabulous. I hope you're all choosing to be the versions of yourself that have exactly what you want. I hope that's what you're doing. If you would like to work with me in any way, shape, or form, all of that information is in the drop box below, including everything there is to know about my 3 channel memberships. I highly encourage you to check out the Advanced Manifestors. It's what I call the VIP group. I highly encourage you to take a look at that group specifically because that is the group that, number one, gives you access to all of the channel memberships, including their recordings. Unless, of course, I forget to hit record, which has happened maybe once or twice. But we make up for it. Outside of that, the VIP group, we are deep diving manifestation, which means going back and reading all the books and sharing our individual perspectives on what we're reading by all the different authors, all the different ones, all the different greats, right? So if that interests you, if you would like to understand manifestation more or understand who you truly are more, so you can stop worrying about your 3D reality, I encourage you to join. I really encourage you to join before next Tuesday, because next Tuesday is going to be one of our free nights where we are going to be talking about anything consciousness related, right? No book reading that week. We can talk about anything. We can talk about, conspiracy theories, which, in truth, we're manifesting them too, but it's going to be a fun night. It's kind of like our little mini Christmas party before the holiday itself. So I encourage you to join me for that so you can join in on that and maybe share your own personal experiences. So looking forward to that. Outside of that, there's the exclusive lives, which is successes and tips and tricks only group, as well as the hot seat. And that's the group that does come with a trigger warning because you're going to hear circumstances, unfortunately, in that group. Well, you know what? We shouldn't even say unfortunately. I know circumstances don't feel good. I say unfortunately because I feel for the person experiencing the circumstances, because I know that when we are experiencing things we don't enjoy in reality, it isn't always comfortable. It isn't always comfortable. But that's okay. That's the group that's going to lift you up and judge you and, give you direction on where to be focusing. So again, all that information is in my Dropbox below. Can I just say thank you to several of you that I've seen have come over to my other channel, Kimberly's Other Life. I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again. Thank you so much. Especially if you found me with Manifesting with Kimberly and you've taken that time to click on over to that other channel. It is much appreciated because I know that your linear time is important too. So what are we going to talk about today? Today, we're talking about the most fun topic, specific person, and whether or not you are accepting them as their new self. If we are someone manifesting someone that we already have a story with, maybe we have previous experiences, good ones, bad ones, favorable, unfavorable, we have memories, right? And again, some are not always pleasurable. And when we are choosing to manifest the, let's say, relationship back with that person, our mind does its job and gives us memories of previous experiences. Now, if you're manifesting brand new love, well, great. You don't have any stories to decide you no longer have. Great. If you're manifesting someone that you've never even had a relationship with, good. You've got no stories to change. But if you're manifesting someone that you've had that prior relationship with, it's important to stay aware that you are not going back and re-identifying with the past unless it was something pleasurable, right? Unless it's a memory you'd like to keep, which is absolutely at your discretion because of who you are. In just about all my videos, I point out that, in my opinion, the most important thing for you to understand is the who you are. Because from there, everything is a free will choice, meaning which version of self you're choosing to embody. So knowing who you truly are is source. And you label that. You decide what that means to you, whether that's God, universe, higher power, source energy, moonbeams. You are that. You are the only cause of which you experience. And on my channel, we understand that that doesn't mean blaming and shaming ourselves for what we've manifested. No, that's stupid and irrelevant. What matters is you know now. Because like I've said before, time is not necessarily real, right? We are not manifesting linear. We are not manifesting in a horizontal straight line. We are vertical. We hop, we jump. And it's important to remember that. And the reason why I'm bringing that up, because that includes your memories too. I've talked about in the past that at every given present moment, you are choosing who you want to be. Now, we are in a habit of always choosing, more than likely, a version of ourselves that kind of hovers around other versions of ourselves that are close by. Vadim Zeland would say in sectors close by. We tend to choose things that feel natural and normal. And when you're manifesting, you want to start making the new version of yourself, the new state, to feel normal and natural. Now, does that mean you're not going to be able to manifest what you want until it feels normal and natural? No, I don't think that. I think that's a limited belief. And I've had the experience of things manifesting outrageously fast, and that new state wasn't natural, wasn't completely natural to me yet. So the beauty of it is you don't have to worry about that. But what I'm saying is the more normal and natural and habitual the new self is, or the new state, the easier it is to land in that state. One of the things that I know myself, I totally didn't care about in the early days of my journey, when all I was focused on was specific person, was the fact that I am source. I didn't care. I'd be like, yeah, I'm God. How do I get specific person to fucking text me? Okay? That was my mindset. I was missing the whole point of manifestation. And I know when you're brand new to this, it is very easy to lose sight of that important nugget. It's the only important nugget. When we're manifesting someone else, you need to be aware, as Neville Goddard says, although others have bodies, a life of their own, their reality is rooted in you, ends in you, as yours ends in God. So I really want you to hear that. I've talked about this particular quote in a lot of my more recent videos. I'm going to say it again. Although others have bodies, your specific person has a body, a life of their own. They seem to look like they have a life of their own. Their reality is rooted in you, because from who you are, you can consider yourself like kind of in your own little reality bubble. And in that bubble, if you're new to my channel, you've never heard me say that before, but if you've been here a while, you've heard me talk about your reality bubble. It is your perception. It's your decision of who you are being that matters, that rules the day. It rules your reality. So your perception, your beliefs about specific person, and your beliefs about, if you're manifesting a relationship, your beliefs around relationships, around love, and what you really truly believe about yourself matters. It is rooted in you. So their reality starts and ends in you as source. So in one respect, it has nothing to do with Kimberly. Kimberly is the character or the avatar that I, as consciousness, I as God, I as source, have been embodying. What's important to also remember is, as yes, you are the I am, you are source. That source that we're talking about, God, universe, chose to have the experience through you, through the character of you, through the avatar of you, of me, to everyone else. But every single one of us has our own reality bubble, including your specific person. But from your reality bubble, what they are experiencing from their perception is more than likely completely different than what you think is being experienced. This can all sound really, really crazy, which is why I push the point of understanding who you truly are as source. Because every other thing you are choosing to believe is that choice. Choice in the now present moment. We lose sight of that when we're manifesting our person. We lose sight of it and we fall back and reattach ourselves, in a sense, to the past, to the previous versions of our person. And when we have to intermingle with them daily, sometimes that can feel difficult too. But it only feels difficult because you are forgetting the who you are. I challenge you to go back and do my I Am Source challenge. Even if you're going to do it just for a week, of really reminding yourself of who you are. That can be enough to change. You see, it's not the techniques that we choose. Techniques are great. Techniques are helpful, but techniques are there to get you to become consciously aware of which version of you you choose to be. They are there as reminders. But it ain't the techniques that's manifesting. It's your awareness that is. Your awareness. Remember, every time you put the focus on being a new version of you, it's an act of forgiveness in a sense. The act of Christ, forgiving the old state, the old version of self, who is not who we wanted to be. Remember, in the other video I discussed, missing the mark, right? That's what true sin is, missing the mark, not hitting your ideal, meaning your true heart's desires. So when we get frustrated and we want to give up on what we're manifesting, that is us choosing to sin. Ain't that crazy? So remembering the who you are can keep you on track. It can keep you in observer mode. So you can observe the subtle changes throughout your mind and what your mind is aware of. I think it's really important to remember that if you are experiencing contact with your specific person and they are very much showing up as a version you do not prefer, it is not because they are taking conscious action or making conscious decisions to upset you, to fail you, to not choose you, to not want to be with you. It can feel that way. It can definitely feel that way, but it's not, because out here is the world of reflection, just reflection. And when you're perceiving them as showing up unfavorable, in that moment, you are choosing to identify as the version of yourself that is experiencing the unfavorable. This is why, and I know it can get repetitive, but this is why I explain all the time. Try to view your reality as absolutely being the right reality, the reality where you have your desire. This is why we say it. So you can break out of the habit of being an old version of yourself. So you can break out of the habit of identifying with the version of your person that you don't want to intermingle with anymore. And try to remember, the only thing you're doing when manifesting is moving your awareness as God. To understand that. It is not just Kimberly is manifesting her specific person. No, it's source placing awareness on the experience source wants to experience through this self. Sometimes when you take the personal out of it, when you take the personal, the you, the version of you, when you take that out of it for a moment, just to be able to center yourself again, so you're back into the observer mode, not necessarily attached to what avatar you're showing up as. And seeing this for how simple it actually is. So, in other words, you're breaking free of the habits of showing up as the same self, experiencing a reality that you are in the habit of identifying as not what you want. You want your specific person to contact you? Then the goal here is to be that source, placing awareness on the version of self of the avatar Kimberly, experiencing a loving, fulfilling, committed relationship. So again, it can help when you take that step back out of reality that I've mentioned in other videos, to take a step back and almost view this as like a mathematical equation. 1 + 1 = 2. It's so simple. Manifestation is so simple. You want to manifest a specific person? Then be the self that is in the relationship with the specific person. 1 + 1 = 2. Choose you having what you want. But sometimes we approach this with, 1 + 3. I'm deciding to be a version of myself that has the desire. And then I look out in reality and I'm searching for the desire and it's still not here yet. I still don't have it. I think I'm doing everything right, but I still don't have it. That's 1 + 1. Or that's 1 + 3 = not what you want. We're adding the wrong things together. You're putting the pieces together, or you're coming from the fulfillment of not having the desire. And that's what you're experiencing in reality, because that's what you're claiming. That's what you're validating. You as God are saying, I am the version of self that believes he or she is doing everything right, yet is still not seeing results. That's the version of self I'm showing up as. See how simple, so simple your perspective is. It's so simple. I see reality clearly as this self. This is my perception, so therefore this is who I am. When in fact the idea is to leave the world of the senses, leave the 3D, and instead enter imagination as source, as God, choosing the version of whoever you are, or the version of Kimberly, who is experiencing a loving relationship from the fulfillment of that self. It is simple. We make it difficult when we entangle the world of senses, or when we choose to rely on what our senses are telling us that we're experiencing in the 3D. And then add a little touch of impatience on top of that. But even the impatience is coming from an identity. Manifesting can feel like fuckery, but it feels like fuckery because of who you're being, because of the nuances of who you believe you are. So I say to you, no matter what you're experiencing in reality, it is time to begin the habit of deciding it's always to your benefit. It's always leading you to what you want, because it is. And to stop looking out here for the evidence and remember who you are as God, as source. I've said this before, but let me say it again. This is never because you can't have who you want. or this person is just not meant for you. It's because you're viewing reality from a limited version of yourself. And in a sense, every single version of you is limited in some way, meaning every version of you is a version of you with a set of beliefs. And those beliefs shape that version of you. But it's just a layer of ignorance because your true self is source. Source experiencing reality through all the different beings. You only don't have what you want because you are choosing to view reality from the self or the identity that believes you don't have it or that you're waiting for it. Remember, all time is now. All time. We go vertical. We jump from timeline to timeline. We don't walk in a straight line. So I encourage you today, ask yourself, who do you really think you are? Who do you really think you are viewing reality as? Or which version of you is experiencing reality? And try not to entangle logic with your answer. But you can be any version of yourself that you want to be. You can have whatever you want, and you can experience whatever you want because every version of you is already created. It's already existing. So where as source are you placing your awareness? What teeny tiny little pebble are you viewing reality from? Because you have an infinite plethora of choices. Who are you? Who are you? That's the answer. Who are you? That's the answer to your reality. Who are you? Who do you really believe you are? So on that note, focus on being the self you want to be. And remember why you can do that. Because you are source. And quite frankly, start telling yourself that you're doing a good job. You're good at this. It's getting easier and easier for you. And you are of the understanding that you are source. Start telling yourself that and watch those internal shifts start to happen.